Hey guys, let's go over Chapter 15 and what you're getting into this week. Excuse the huge mess behind me. This is kind of Santa's workshop now. In Chapter 15, we're looking at the urinary system, and we're also looking at acid-base balance and homeostasis in the body. So the first page on 439 is just the basic anatomy. You'll cover that in lab. You should know all the parts and what they do. Then you'll see the actual structure of the kidney on page 440, and there's a little flow chart there. That's the pathway for urine formation. So it starts in the collecting duct and then goes down ultimately to the urinary bladder and out the urethra. So that pathway is important to understand, and you can see those structures on that actual kidney structure there, and you can probably see them and kind of diagram them out in lab. On 441, you see the blood flow. So the whole deal with the kidney is the blood's coming in, stuff's getting taken out of it, and then blood's going back out to the rest of the body. So there's a huge interplay between the circulatory system and the urinary system here. This is how the urine's formed, and so you have to get the bad stuff out of the blood, or whatever is in too high of concentration in the blood, and stick it into the urine. And that's the whole purpose of the kidney here. And so you see that blood flow sequence on the next page, 441. On 442, you see the picture of where all the magic happens. It's called the glomerulus. It's this little capillary network where all the blood flows in and junk spits out, and then it works its way through this structure called a nephron, which you see on page 443. You can see the glomerulus there. You can see that intimate connection between all of the arteries and the veins and the collecting system pulling the stuff out of the blood and creating that urine. Very important pathway to understand. Flow charting it out, or trying to paraphrase those little captions there, all important and maybe interesting ways of studying that. On the next page, you can see the actual functional pieces of the nephron, how the actual nephron is working. It's two processes. It's filtration and it's reabsorption. So in other words, not everything that is filtered out in the beginning will actually leave the body. In fact, some of it is reabsorbed back into the blood. I always say it's kind of like when you get in a fight with your boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife, and you kick them out, if you were to do that, but you kick all of their stuff out onto the sidewalk, and then you say, oh wait, you know what, baby, you can come back in, right? You kind of kick everything out at first, and then you can let a few things back in. It's kind of like that happening in the kidneys. All the bad stuff leaves, and then some of it comes back in, because not all of it was bad. You see the process of glomerular filtration and this balance between net filtration pressure, glomerular hydrostatic pressure, blood colloidosmotic pressure. All of those pressure numbers are very important to understand, and those relationships are diagrammed for you on page 446. Those arrows are really important to understand. Then you see the diagram of reabsorption and secretion. Secretion is elimination, right? Getting it out and moving it towards the urinary bladder. The next little section is on the urinary bladder and the urethra, getting the actual urine out of the body, the muscles responsible for that, the differences in male and female anatomy, and then finally how the kidneys work to adjust blood volume and solute concentrations. Very, very important to understand the interplay between those electrolytes and the fluid in your body. You have the different charts. You don't have to know the specific number values for all of these things, but you should know their relative values. So in other words, if I listed a bunch of electrolytes that are present in the blood plasma, right, you should be able to understand which one of those is highest in concentration or lowest in concentration. Same thing with interstitial and intracellular fluid. So it's important to know where these things are, because that's going to help you understand why they're there and how everything functions. Then you get into some feedback loops for how things are reabsorbed and the influence of hormones such as ADH, antidiuretic hormone, that's on 456, 457, showing you that renin-angiotensin system that we mentioned a little bit back in the cardiovascular system unit when we were talking about regulation of blood pressure. And then the last little section here is all about how your kidneys help to balance your pH. They get rid of the extra acids or the extra bases depending on where your blood pH is falling. So it helps with that balance. Very important to understand, and probably the easiest way to understand that is to diagram out and flowchart out page 460 and 461, which are those feedback loops showing you how the different parts of the body help to regulate that. And that's pretty much all of chapter 15. It's pretty complex, but it's a really cool part of the body. Probably my favorite unit. So good luck. Let me know if you have questions. Bye.